born as the children of God, almost as angels. And so much of the time, I think the church forgets that. The Christian church forgets that, and dwells on our humanity, our depravity, our sin, all of which is a part of being human. And I believe that Jesus then also had a very human side.
You know, we are with Pastor Poage. I think we have a call here. I do have a lot of questions for you, but I'm going to go ahead and get this line. Scott, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
I was wanting to ask a little bit about the Christian missionaries.
Okay.
Because there was a book by, I think a guy was named like Norman Lewis or something, Missionaries God Against the Indians. And in there he talked about the Panari Indians who did not have any history of Christianity, and the missionaries came trying to convert them, and since they didn't want to be converted, they changed their scriptures to blame the Panari Indians themselves as the crucifiers of Christ. And that was the way they converted those people. Also, in Africa and Asia, they also have a tendency to convert people by, they used to have a saying, the Bible and the gun. If one didn't make you, the other one would. And part of the missionaries program, they always seem to destroy the native culture in a lot of their situations. Even to the present day, I think, in Uganda, the Southern Baptists, I think it's Dr. John Goodgame, he was launching a campaign against AIDS, and rather using the money for health care, I think he bought 100,000 Bibles with it. So, can you explain the missionaries' mission? I mean, are they kind of off the track a little bit? Or what's going on with that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Important question, and I would say that yes, throughout much of history, Christian missionaries have gone about it the wrong way, and have in fact gone about it in very deadly and destructive ways, whether it's with tribal nations in North America, whether it's in Uruguay, in Uganda. The Bibles certainly are useful in some contexts, but they don't provide the drugs and the medicine and the care that's necessary to fight that disease, which to me would be a much better mission effort. I don't know, hopefully that answers
the questions of a missionary. Is this something that is in the Christianity to go and convert people?
Again, throughout history, yeah. That the idea among many denominations, much of Christianity, much of Protestant and Catholic Christianity has been to go, in fact, and usually we get that from the Gospels, to go
I mean,
out into
with
other lands.
the intention itself is actually do convert people, not just educating people about Christianity or Jesus, but to convert people.
Right.
So that is lawful.
It is lawful would be not a word I would use necessarily. I think it has been a calling that has been felt by a lot of folks within the Christian tradition to do exactly that.
The reason I said that purposely, I asked this question purposely, because if we would have a Muslim as a missionary Muslim trying to convert people, it's going to be looked at negatively. So why it's okay? By the extremists or anti-Islam or anti-Muslims.
Oh, okay.
They're going to look at it that it's okay for a missionary to convert people into Christianity, but it's unlawful. Again, that's why I use the word lawful or unlawful.
Okay.
But it's unlawful for a Muslim to invite people to Islam or to convert people. Although in Islam, by the way, it's un-Islamic to convert people. In Islam, we are not supposed, or Muslims are not supposed to convert people to Islam. You can invite people to Islam. and it's up to them to accept it or not. But to enforce it upon people, and to convert, this is actually forbidden in Islam.
And I think that's a good thing. Because
No compulsion. We believe no compulsion.
right,
in the
and
religion.
it's a really thin line between compulsive or forced conversion, which has taken place in the history of Christianity, and the idea of invitation, because I mean those are two different methodologies.
The idea of Scott, by the way, if you think about it twice, we notice that the missionaries or the conversion happens in areas where there's a drought, starvation, hunger, and there is the essential necessity for those people is gone. Like if you didn't have food, you would do anything to eat. So we notice this in the Philippines. We notice this in Africa as well. It's very, it's true. Now, the Bible itself. Do you believe that the Bible it's a divine book in a way that it was protected by God?
I believe that the Bible, number one, is divinely inspired. I also believe that it was written by human beings over
Period of time.
centuries.
The
Yes.
original Bible. Let's say the original one.
Well, see, and that's even that is a difficult question, because different parts of the Bible were lost and then found, and the whole history of how the Bible was put together is very it's interesting, and one might want to challenge how it was put together, because there are, for instance, Gospels, like there in the New Testament that we use now in Christianity. There are 4 Gospels. There are actually many more Gospels that did not make it into the New Testament.
Why?
Good question. Because the people that were
We're talking about
this is my-
the Roman Empire, right?
we're talking about
Or is it before?
we're talking about time after that, actually.
Time after that? Okay.
And who was making the decision as to, and usually again it was a group of men, group of clergy, more than likely.
But it was the government, wasn't it, at that time?
Again, it would be hard to separate the two,
Okay.
probably. Yeah, because it would be, just be hard to separate the two. But my point is that the other Gospels, what we call the non-canonical Gospels, have a whole lot to say, but they don't fit into what I am assuming the group of folks that putting together the Gospels wanted the people to read. Or they doubted the veracity, the truth of these other Gospels. Like there's a Gospel of Thomas, a Gospel of Mary, just lots of non-canonical Gospels. And the same way with the Hebrew Scriptures, what we call the Old Testament in Christian, in the Christian religion, Christian tradition. Most of those manuscripts were lost. And gradually they were put together and found, and again there was the Hebrew text that we use now. It's my understanding